All-time rosters. We have the Rockets, Hakeem Olajuwon, James Harden. No Barkley here. It's actually kind of cool to see that the Olajuwon Drexler duo is better than McGrady and Ming. That's why they won a championship. Calvin Murphy, very underrated player, still broadcaster for them. Steve Francis, 88. That's about right. Kenny Smith, Mobley. Uh, Really surprised Patrick Beverly. Some of these names are on this list. Okay, the Spurs. Let's start down low. 80, 81. Andrew Johnson. Any good players here that we'd want to use? Um, Sean Elliott, Prime Ginobili, Prime Parker, George Gervin. So the best teammate that Tim Duncan ever played with, David Robinson, 96, Leonard and Parker and these other guys. Pretty amazing when Duncan played with 1, 2, 3, 4 players in his career that were 90 or higher. It's pretty cool. The Suns. So it doesn't have Charles Barkley, but you can basically create a Suns team from the early 90s without Barkley. They would have been nasty with Barkley because you have basically an 87. Marley, Chambers were on the same team, 89, and Kevin Johnson, 90. So you had basically a big four if you count Barkley. Uh, Here we go, the old Thunder and Sonics. Durant, best player in their history. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think Gary Payton needs a little bit more respect. But I guess Durant won MVP, Payton never did. Spencer Haywood, did not know he was on that team. Cool. Jack Sikma, very underrated. James Harden, X-Man. Tom Chambers again. A lot of these players are on a bunch of teams. Schrempf was also on the Pacers. How is Trenton Hassel on the Timberwolves? Christian Laettner, okay. Rubio. Interesting that Rubio is rated higher here than he is on his team. This is interesting that they say Garnett had no help throughout his career. He played with an 87, 86, I believe they played together. Terrell Brandon, Wally Zerbiak, he played with some good players. Laettner, oh, maybe not. The Blazers, Ryder again, Strickland. Randolph you could trade him into the 99 2000 Blazers to make up for Rasheed Wallace not being there. Warriors, one of the best teams of all time here, right? Wow. Cheat code. They have the old school. How many of the 07 Warriors made this team? 1, 2, 3. That's pretty good. 89, 87. The Wizards, a young Richard Hamilton. Rex Chapman, that's a good name. Larry Hughes. Bernard King. Young Chris Webber. Bradley Beal, John Wall. Don't see many people using this team. Free agency. Jermichael Green, Ty Lawson, David Lee. Who else is available? Darren Williams. Some good role players here. Aaron Brooks, Chris Humphries. Man, it's hard to make the NBA. Jared Jack is still not on the team. Chris Anderson, Andrew Bogut. And how do you make the NBA? You have to be better than all those players. Alright, we have all-time players here. So Jordan. Pretty exciting stuff. I'm going to finish with the rest of the classic teams. So I started with the Rockets. So here are the Raptors. Carter, Bosch. Bosch is prime. Pistons. This is a good team. I like to see Grant Hill there. I wish they had a all Grant Hill Pistons team, but they don't. They're a good team. They had Grant Hill and Jerry Stackhouse playing together in their prime. The Hornets. This could be a surprising team to use. Mashburn. Mashburn was very underrated. David Wesley, I don't think he was quite that high. Chandler and Page, I don't think they were quite that low. Page was almost an MVP for 1 year with the Hornets. Let's see. Allen Iverson in 90. Tumbo 89. McDice. Nick Van Exel. Billups. Nene in 82. Well, so you have some good players here. Prime Mello 94. And Nats are actually really good here because Irving and Kidd. Kidd was great, 96. Wow. How does Irving only have 5 badges? That doesn't make sense. For Jefferson, 88. Keith Van Horn. Kenny Martin, 87. Harris, 87. Keith Van Horn, yeah, 86. Cool. What team is this? The Mavericks. Brendan Haywood. This doesn't make sense. Steve Nash, Jason Kidd. How is Steve Nash not a top point guard on this team? How is Jason Terry higher than him? It's crazy. Jim Jackson. Dirk. I think the Mavericks have had some players that were 90. Michael Finley's not a 90. Jim Jackson, Jason Kidd. That doesn't make sense. Grant Hill. Don't think he deserves to be there. McGrady. Grady's best Magic in history. Don't know if I agree. Dwight and Shaq are the same. That's interesting. The Lakers, 99, 98, 98, 97, 96. Might be the best team in this game. And another 96. And another 95. Wow, this team is stacked. The Knicks, Mark Jackson. Maury, 88. Out Houston, 89. Cool. Where's Sprewell? Not on the team, so I guess he was worse than an 86. Excited to use it now in Houston, though. That's going to be a lot of fun. Kings, Mitch Richmond, 94. Wow. High rating. Peja, 88. Bibby, 88. Wow. I don't know if the Kings had 4 players rated at 88 and above, but maybe. Antoine Carr. Cool. Tyreek Evans, Doug Christie. Solid. The Jazz, Derek Favors, Millsap, Hornacek. I think Hornacek was better than 84 in his prime compared to some of these other ratings. Daryl Griffin, he averaged 20 points a game for them. Fun fact. Karolenko. Did not know he played power forward. Darren Williams, I think he might have been higher than that. Mark Eden, beast. Daly should be higher. Maravich should be higher. Stockton, Malone in their prime. Cool. It's right up there with some top teams. 5 players in the 90s. Ooh, Hornets, no one in the 90s. What's great about this is Alonzo Mourning was traded for Glenn Rice. He was traded for Eddie Jones. He was traded for Mashburn, who should be here. And he's not there. That's interesting. Glenn Rice, what a great shooter. One of my favorite players growing up. Glenn Rice again. I'm surprised Bosch isn't higher, only an 88. Just because he was a role player. It's going to be exciting using Alonzo and Tim Hardaway together. Seekley, he was almost traded to the Jazz in 98. But that trade fell apart because of a physical. Would they be in the Bulls in 98 with him? Who knows? Great NBA what if. The Hawks, very underrated franchise. Spud, you get to use Spud Webb, Corver. So you have all the Hawks from 2 years ago, and then a few players from the 90s. Kevin Willis. He's a beast. He averaged like 14 or 15 rebounds a game with the Hawks 1 year. He should be higher. So a nice big 4. Love the hair by Gasol. So the 2 Gasols, that is an equal rating. Sharif Abdul-Rahim, that'll be a fun player to use. Throwback to the original 2K, Mike Bibby and Sharif, Byron Scott. Clippers, not many good players there.